Okay, it's recording?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks, Sean, and welcome everyone. Today we'll be going through some products and services that really can help with your reputation management, focusing on both some services we offer, but more importantly on the as importantly on the technology that can really help you drive more ratings and better ratings. So the objectives of this office hours review are pretty simple and straightforward: get more ratings and reviews for you, get better overall ratings posted. That's important. And of course, through technology, making it as easy as possible by employing that good technology. I think the fact that we have so many people registered for this, it's a pretty good indication that this is important to you. But I thought it'd be good to really quantify the importance of ratings. And so to do that, I'm going to ask Bambi to jump in and talk about, the importance of good ratings and the impact of bad ratings. So Bambi, take it away.
Sounds great. Hey, everybody. So I've been in the reputation management space in my career. This will be my third year coming up next year. So I'm very passionate about sharing this with you. As business owners and managers, you guys understand the power of positive and negative reviews, but I think some of these stats will surprise you. So 85% of consumers trust online reviews as much as personal recommendations. It's very powerful. Positive reviews make up 74% of consumer trust a local business more. 60% of consumers say that negative reviews made them not want to use a business. Of course, as you guys are also consumers, if you go to a restaurant, I'm assuming you guys will look at Google reviews and Yelp reviews and make a decision on whether or not to support that local business. So it's very important to be mindful of both positive and negative reviews. 49% of consumers need at least a 4-star rating before they choose a business, and consumers read an average of 7 reviews before trusting a business. A strong employer brand can reduce the cost of per hire by as much as 50%. Having said that, a lot of businesses try to obtain false positive reviews to increase their Google score. We do not endorse that whatsoever. You want authentic positive reviews from customers that are already passionate about your business. And to discuss negative reviews, we've all experienced them in business. Unfortunately, there are trolls, non-real customers and clients leaving negative reviews. Competitors leave negative reviews, upset customers who, have a legitimate complaint about the business. Instead of talking to management, will go on Google or Yelp and leave a bad review. And of course, disgruntled ex-employees. This stat was very interesting to learn. According to a Harvard Business School working paper, every additional 1-star Yelp rating causes an increase in the business's revenue as high as 9%. So of course, you can make the same translation that with Google as well, it would be just as important. All reviews that are on the first page when someone Google searches your business are very key and very important to your overall reputation.
Thanks, Bambi. I'm going to just, because, we always want these things to be interactive. So I'm just going to pause 1 second and let's ask if anybody wants to raise their hand and ask a question of Bambi on just the stats portion of this before we get into the next section.
Yeah, if there's any questions during this presentation, please feel free to use the chat or raise your hand. We can get you on the mic. But if there are no questions for right now, then we'll keep going.
Let's keep moving. So what I am going to be talking about today is basically the process that goes into, getting and posting reviews, and then we'll talk about the technology involved with that. Now, it's a pretty darn simple process, right? There's some kind of customer transaction. You request them to do a review, and then you post that review to your website or to social media accounts. All sounds pretty easy. Unfortunately, there's a lot of problems that go with that. And the reality is it's really, really time consuming. If you don't dedicate yourself to it, it's not only does it take time to do, but it interferes with your normal workflows. And so what ends up happening is you don't do it, or you don't answer the reviews in a timely fashion. So in any case, it becomes a cumbersome type of process. So what our objectives is with this, with technology, is create reviews and control them automatically through that technology. Now I'm going to do one more segue back to Bambi before we jump into the actual technology, because there's the inevitability of bad reviews. And one important part of this is how do you manage and handle those bad reviews? So Bambi, could you jump into that for a sec?
For sure. So the type of reviews that are most likely to be removed from Google are false information that are certainly false but presented as fact, conflict of interest or bias, so former competitors, past employees, or other business affiliations. And if there's any incentivizing reviews, you offer something for that review, that's considered a bad review. Of course, plagiarized reviews are bad, inappropriate or offensive content, or releasing of private information as well. So with our services, we've been able to impact businesses in a positive way by removing negative reviews. So here's a couple of our case studies. For a law firm, we removed 15 of their negative reviews in 3 months and brought them from a 4.5 to a 5.0. Obviously, when a customer is thinking about how to support a business, they're going to start with the ones that are the highest rating as opposed to somewhere in the middle. For another law firm, we removed 2 of their negative reviews in 4 days and brought them, oh, something happened. Okay. The slide moved.
I'm sorry, that must have been me.
No problem. So we removed 2 of the reviews in 4 days and brought them from a 4.6 to a 5.0. And for a construction company, we removed 3 negative reviews in 3 days. They went from a 4.3 to a 4.6. So something we offer customers is a review snapshot analysis. And, we'll talk about that at the end. But basically, we can show mathematically how removing negative reviews is a lot easier than adding positive reviews for many businesses. So how we do it, 365 Rep Protection is our program that we do this with. This is a service we offer our customers. We use our knowledge of terms of service with our technology to assist clients in managing their online reputation. We help businesses and individuals who often feel helpless when handling their negative reviews to fight for their reputation instead of falling victim to false and unfair reviews that they don't know how to handle online. We only get paid if we're successful. We don't contact the reviewer in any way. And we're only paid if the review is completely removed. We don't suppress it. It's got to be completely gone. Very affordable, no hidden costs. And like I said earlier, our team has over 3 years experience and reputation management doing just this type of service.
Cool. Again, I'll just, before we switch back to technology, any questions out there, Gannon?
Not right now.
Okay. All right, so let's get back into this this process and talk about the power of A&I, not AI, but A&I, automation and integration. And what we're looking for our technology partners to do is to make this this process that's so important to us easy. We want it to be integrated to our workflows, specifically our customer engagement workflows. And the net result is we want to increase the quantity and quality of our reviews. So how does technology out there how does it help us? Well, in the first part is the collection process. And we talked about in the beginning, there's some kind of a customer transaction that occurs. Well, what we need to have happen is that transaction, when it occurs, automatically start a process, create a trigger. And it does that in technology by creating a tag on that particular contact. And it can be done manually. It can be done through API software, such as payment or scheduling software. Once we have the tag, the technology then puts it into one of the software programs. In our case, it goes into our CRM, Exonate or CEC. It could also go into standalone software, such as Nice Job or Podium, or a couple examples out there. And then what we want to have happen in this portion of the process is the technology to start a drip campaign. And a drip campaign can be 1 email or text request, or it could be 10. But we want it to basically start that campaign. And again, in our case, that's done within our CRM software. And I noticed I spelled Exonator wrong. That's bad. But it also can be done and triggered in we also could trigger through our MailChimp affiliation, or through Constant Contact, or any number of other drip campaign type of. And what a drip campaign does, if you're not familiar, it basically sends out content over multiple times over a specific period. And again, it could be once, it could be 10 times. That needs something that you want to define in your technology. Now, once you've done that, the next part of it is Okay, I've requested the process. Good news, I've gotten a response. So do you want that response to be automatically posted? Well, not necessarily, right? So if the response isn't exactly as positive as you want, you're not going to want it to be posted. So the first thing you want your technology to do is create an ability to review a post, and whether that's automatically reviewed by setting thresholds for, what you consider to be a good review or a bad review, or it's something that notifies you and tells you, hey, you got a post, what do you want to do with it? And then the second part of that is the technology actually doing the posting. Now, there's two levels of posting here. One is to a website page. That should be done automatically. You're controlling the web page. The software should do that automatically, again, based upon some threshold that you set. If it doesn't have a threshold, you probably don't want it posting without you doing some type of intervention. And the second one, though, was posting to social media platforms. There it's slightly bit different, because you can't post, like do a copy and paste of a customer's review and put it into your social media site. They require the customer to actually do that, and unless a customer gives you access to their site, you can't do that. So you basically have a semi-automated process where you give the customer a direct access to where you want them to post, and the ability to do a quick and easy copy paste and put stars in to be able to go ahead and replicate that nice post that they have given you directly. So with that, I always caveat this, there's no way of us really showing other people's software. So we'll show you how we do all this magic in our software. And for those of you that are first time, we specialize in as far as our business management software in the service industry. So anything, professional service, law firms, that all the way through trade service companies, and any other type of general service business. That's our specialty. And so that's, I'll just show you how we handle this automation of ratings and reviews and how it integrates into the workflows in our world. And specifically, as I mentioned earlier, our work occurs in our Exonator CEC, which is our CRM. So one of the unique things that we do in our workflows is we allow the creating of this customer transaction, which in our case is usually an appointment of some type, by a specific type of appointment. And you can see here, there's it could be very specific type of appointment, or it could be general like other. But it's some type of appointment transaction, and we have the ability then, once that transaction, that becomes that trigger when that appointment is scheduled, or some other activity in that appointment that triggers it. So that's the first step, is identifying that process, that trigger. And once it's triggered, once we set it up, then you have the ability to say, this is where you start your drip campaign. What do you want to happen? What message do you want? Now, we do a whole number of messages, but just focusing on ratings and surveys, you could have one, or you could have 10 of them, right? So we define on this particular service type, what types of follow-up ratings email requests do we want to do? In this case, there's just one, but it could be 4 or 5 of them. Once we do that, the next part of it is to establish content. Each one of these, again, the content can be special. You don't want somebody where you've done an installation to be talking about a first, how was your first appointment? So this content is customizable, and it's also, you can personalize it with things like first name, dates of when the transaction occurred, that type of thing. And it can be structured for both text messaging, SMS, or email. And then the last part, and I think you can see, there's a lot of components that go into this. It's all nice. It's great once it's all automated and set up, and it's very easy to do, but you need to cover all the bases. And so this is the last part of setting it up, and that's basically establishing the time frames between when the first of the transaction occurred and when you want this this particular one to go out. You can see the threshold of stars. In this case, they've set a threshold of 4 stars that is considered a good post. Lower than that is considered not good post. And then you establish what message does the customer get when they have in fact gotten either the good or not good post. In the case of the good post, in this case, they want to send the customer a response, which includes a link to their social media site so that the customer then can go ahead and post there as well. So based upon that, I think you can, see that the process now becomes very much automated, very much integrated to the event that you have established. Triggers a drip campaign that can be any length. It kind of covers both text and email. And then if once the rating threshold is met, can automatically respond by sending that post automatically to your website or sending a link to the social media site. Now, this is, in the short time that we have during these things, we can't cover all the aspects of reputation management. So one of the ones that, for instance, we're not covering today is what happens if someone just posts to your site. And we're asked by Alignable to do a long version of this presentation in December. And so we'll cover that then, as well as by providing some additional options technology-wise to other companies. But I think you can see from this that there's really some substantial benefits to this process. The biggest of which is you just set it and forget it. Right. Once we set it up for you and it's all up and running, and or you set up your other technologies that are up and running, you don't have to worry about it anymore. It's being done automatically for you. The second part is you most assuredly is going to get more positive reviews, assuming that you're all great at your business, which I assume you are, because you're not going to let the bad reviews get posted, at least not easily. So it's a great way to increase the number of stars that you have. And ultimately, the result is, getting more business. So with that, I'm going to just post a couple of links for you, and then we're going to dive into Q&A at this stage. So I want to remind everybody that as the Alignable members, there's a special. It was for the first 100. There's still some left. Won't last forever. But 3 months free of using our key software, as well as some cash back rebates. You really should take a look at it. It's at this Alignable page. And also Bambi, mentioned the free snapshot reputation analysis. That's a free offer for this group, as well as a nice $200 hotel gift card with holiday season coming up. You might be planning some trips, so take a look at that as well. So with that, let's open it up to questions.
Yeah, good job, guys. What do you say, audience? Any questions?
Can't imagine we answered every single question about reputation management and technology out there.
And if you think of a question after this presentation, please feel free to use our community group to post it. Or you can also schedule a demo with us and we can go through more detail, which I've linked in the chat as well.
So Michelle has raised her hand. Hi, Michelle.
Yeah, thank you. I am currently studying with the Cialdini Institute, and it's how to increase your influence in your business and with your clients. And on the topic of ratings, he asserts that having a perfect 5-star rating implants in the idea of your client or potential client that you may be just doing it with your friends, or it may be like, I call them mercy posts, that kind of thing. And he recommends 4 point. He says the sweet spot is 4.5 to 4.8, so that the lesser than 5, the lesser than perfect, sort of gives it more authority or more authenticity. How would you respond to that?
I don't mind. I don't
go
mind
ahead, John.
let me give you a quick 50,000 foot view, and then Bambi, maybe you chime in after with some more details. So in general, that's probably in the sweet spot. But I do think it's highly dependent on how many reviews that rating is based on, right? Because it's just math and statistics. So if you have a 4.5 and there's 1,000 reviews and you've got 100 or 200 1-stars, not sure that math would actually work, but I think it might. That's probably for me a turnoff. I'd look at that like, okay, well, 10% are 1-star, so I probably won't. And not only 10% of, it's 10% of a big number. So I think it depends highly on the math. Bambi, chime in.
My belief is that a lot of businesses, have their own strategic of what they consider perfect versus just, right below perfect. I will say that 4.5, I don't consider amazing. Once you go lower and lower, if somebody leaves you a negative review, you're setting yourself back further. So, I would say, you got to follow your instinct and what you feel is correct. But, think about the customer. They have to look at your reviews and decide, am I doing business with you? If they see, reviews that have been sporadic, where you get one review every 6 months, that's going to make a difference. If they, and what the review says matters. So, I think that the higher you can get, the better. Some people don't want 5s. I've spoken to a lot of businesses who are adamant, I don't want a 5, I want a 4.9. Okay, that's fine. There are mathematical ways to get there if you have negative reviews. And then positive reviews, of course, matter as well. So I think it has a lot to do with quantity and quality for each individual business owner.
Can you also speak to the question of, okay, how do you get your clients to leave reviews? I mean, seriously, I've tried incentivizing them, and asking them to partner with me. I've tried that approach. It seems to be, and I'm a fairly small business. I'm a kind of a specialized business. And so I don't have like 500 clients a year. I'm trying to build up a reputation on social. I generally have tried Google, seems to be a little bit better for me, but it's been very difficult to actually motivate my clients to leave a review. So how would you speak to that? How would you suggest ethical ways of motivating them?
Can I jump in on that one, Sean?
Please.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's part of what we're talking about in the technology and the drip campaigns. There's some studies like, and yeah, everyone has to review these things, but they've studied drip campaigns where you're, requesting a response, and you can make, all the messages different, but they actually said that the 2 highest responses in their test, and this is, over a long period of time, were the 1st and the 4th request, which was kind of interesting, right? So point being, it's not so much, how you request it as much as how often you request it. So, and one of the things that you can also do in this is, and we can do this in our software as well, because we're connected up with MailChimp as well. But you can have a whole separate campaign. So you have 500 customers. Hopefully they're all in your constant contact or MailChimp. You could set up a campaign just in there, just to go and ask those 500 customers for a review, and make the review something fairly specific if you want. And send a form out for them to fill out and to respond to. And you could set it up to go out, 3 or 4 or 5 times. And I would suggest maybe holiday times isn't a bad time to do that. People feeling nice and happy and joyous and maybe have a little free time. Might be a good time to set up a campaign like that.
I'd like to piggyback off of that. Marketing in general is all about consistency and frequency. So consistently getting your message out and frequently getting your message out, or at least some level of frequency, which backs up the study that Gary just noted on reviews. So that's no different than, so I'm a big fan of, let's get out to the customer base, you know, happy Veterans Day. Now Thanksgiving's coming up. Happy, you know, Thanksgiving from, you know, John's Plumbing or whatever the business is, right? The same thing would be for review requests. Consistently and frequently ask, and they will start to come in. And that's why we've automated it. That's what, in part, what Gary showed today.
And Michelle, one more point, just based on what you do. You know, I always think that when you're in a consulting type business, you want a snapshot of where you are in the beginning. So when you're positioning yourself to ask for that testimonial, you've shown the value you've given them. So usually when a customer or client sees that value and the difference it's made for them, they're more than happy to leave a brief review. Sometimes you have to coach them on what you want them to say, you know, the types of things you want them to talk about, because some of it is just a mental block in their head. They don't know what to actually say.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. So Mark has a question. I put it in the chat. If everybody is looking at the chat, I'll just go ahead and read it out loud. Do you give any specific consulting on tips to get better reviews for your business? Who wants to tackle that?
I think it's kind of what I just said as well. You know, it just depends on your industry, Mark. You know, what do you hope a review says about your business, and, you know, providing them some guidelines of the types of feedback you're looking for.
And I would say consistency and frequency. I would say
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to add the same thing. As far as exact wording, I you know, one of the things that they tell you all the time is personalization. And I think also, you know, I like the fact that you can customize the messaging so that it's not, you know, always cookie cutter. So you could have 4 different messages, can make them personalized, you know, their first name, and those things have more are part of what the impact on getting people to actually respond. And the one other thing I would add to it, while this isn't necessarily content, but text messaging. Text messaging is much better. Has a better response rate than emails.
Yep, I think it's a great point. And that's why our solution does both email and text, and you can also set it and forget it, as Gary mentioned. It's also on this slide. You know, consistency and frequency. I would just repeat that and repeat that and repeat that. People just often get caught up. They probably emotionally want to give a review, but then all of a sudden, you know, a phone call comes in for a new sale, or a problem comes up, or they got to take their child to soccer, or whatever the things are, right? So they just have to be reminded. And
yeah, you know, well, I didn't show this because of time constraints. You know, one of the things that in ours is what goes out is, in essence, is a little tiny form, and it basically is very simple. You know, you put your message about what they want them to do. There's, you know, your 5 stars, and then there's a place if you want to leave comments. So someone literally could at least give you stars in a matter of 5 seconds, you know, the time to read a text. And if they want to go the next step and add some comment, you know, a comment, that's added. So that's the other aspect that I would say is the more convenient it is to respond, the better.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And Mark, based on your business, I saw that you're a mobile notary. You know, obviously after you deliver the service, a gentle reminder. Of course, you know, if you can get them to do it right there, that's great. You know, as we alluded to, unfortunately, customers do it on their own time. You know, based on all their distractions, they can get easily distracted. So, you know, using our technology to send them reminders via email or text message, and like Gary said earlier, it just sometimes is multiple touches. So hopefully they become repeat customers for you and create more customers for you. And always think about a referral program. I know it's not our topic right now, but it's always good to think about a referral program and how to tie it into your reputation management.
Yeah, and with mobile notary service, I mean, I personally have used that service lots at parts of my career. And it can be very, very valuable to somebody who's under a deadline. So there's an emotional thing there that can potentially work for you. Great. Any other questions? I think we're limited to 30 minutes today, if I'm not mistaken. Limited in quotes.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Mark. And I think, yeah, we have posted in the chat. You can easily schedule, see our system at work, schedule an appointment if you like. There's one under reputation management, or do you just select other? And happy to talk with anybody, demo software. Don't forget, when you go into the Alignable page, there's also links to feature tours that are totally, we don't take names. You go on the site, you're going to do your thing, and with anonymity. So we're not here to nag you and bug you. We're here to hopefully capture people that really want to make a change in their business and make things a lot easier for themselves. So anyway, thank you for coming.
Michelle. Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
We are an
Yeah, well,
Alignable
by the way,
marketplace.
we actually are going to put a post in the Alignable group, just asking just that, for you to rate this presentation, and give us any comments or ideas for a future one. That get posted.
I have a post for what people want to learn, and then I'll have another post, another poll for that. So
yeah, just because it'll really be helpful for us if you can do that. So thank you, Michelle. Appreciate that.
We are an Alignable. Don't hesitate to reach out. Happy to give anyone a free consultation. That snapshot analysis will be yours to have, whether you hire us or not for any of our services. So happy to provide value however I can.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining.
Yep, that's great.
Thanks,
stuff.
everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good
Take
rest
care.
of the week. Bye-bye.
Take care.